Hello, I'm Daniel. I'm going to give a talk today called Training in Giving Up Negative Emotions. Training in Giving Up Negative Emotions. This is from the text, The 37 Practices of a Bodhisattva. And what this text is a list of sort of tips to help us unleash our full potential, our potential for mindfulness and compassion. That's what we're talking about. And that's what a bodhisattva is, one who's trying to unleash their full potential for mindfulness and compassion. So I hope people aren't getting hung up on that word bodhisattva. So, the 37 practices of a bodhisattva, this is number 35. That being said, you can listen to these in any order, it doesn't matter. But this one is called Training in Giving Up Negative Emotions. And I'm going to recite the verse, and then I'm going to comment on it. So, here we go. Training in Giving Up Negative Emotions. When habituated to negative emotions, the antidotes can hardly reverse them. Therefore, as soon as attachment and so forth arise, it is the practice of bodhisattvas to, in the moment of mindfulness, take up the weapon-like antidote and destroy the negative emotions. So, this is sort of, we're going to, it's a metaphor describing our our mindfulness as an antidote, but also as like a weapon. So I'm gonna smash my negative emotions. I'm gonna smash them with my weapon-like antidote. And that's sort of weird to use two metaphors at the same time. But what are we talking about? We're talking about using mindfulness and alertness to essentially to avoid getting ourselves in trouble. It's seeing something we really, really want, but realizing in that moment that going after it's not going to be helpful to us. Not going to be helpful to us. Mindfulness and alertness are usually thought of as passive things that we're cultivating, but here they're described as like weapons that crush our weaknesses. So, and that word habituated, when habituated to negative emotions, that just means when we have given into our anger again and again and again, it becomes a habit. And then it's super easy to keep giving into it. Super easy to keep giving into it. That's what habituated means. It just means it's become a habit. And so what we want to do is learn to be mindful and learn to have a little gap. And the gap is when we have that moment to recognize, oh, a negative emotion has arisen. And then we can, maybe the hope is we can adjust what we're doing and resist. So what are negative emotions? So previously we've talked about attachment and aversion, and I'm going to talk about those again. So attachment is when I want something so much that I'm upset if I don't get it. When I want something so much that I'm upset if I don't get it. And that can be, all sorts of things. It can be a promotion at work. It can be a date with a partner that you really want. It can be going roller skating. I say that example because this one time I picked up my daughter from school and she said, "Dad, can we go roller skating?" And I said, I don't like sudden things like, "Hey, can we go roller skating right now?" I don't like that. But anyway, she dropped that on me and I said no. And ruined her night. Ruined her night because she had that attachment. She just really wanted to go roller skating and she didn't want to think about anything else. So I'm sort of a planner, so things like that I don't like, let's do it right now. But anyway, and maybe that's my own attachment. But anyway, she had that attachment and she held on to it and it made her, consequently, it made her unhappy. And we have that. And then also the other side, another aspect of attachment is I want this and I don't care if it's bad for me. Or I want this and I'm blind to the fact that it's bad for me. So it is eating too much ice cream. It is being with the wrong partner. Being with a partner that hurts us mentally or physically or emotionally, right? It's attachment if you do that. And then that's really complicated, and I almost probably shouldn't have brought it up. But it's attachment when everyone around you can see you should give something up and you don't give it up. That's attachment. It's also attachment when you keep eating when you're not hungry anymore and you eat until your stomach hurts. That's attachment too. It's all these things. It's when our desires and our wishes, our craving for satisfaction is harmful to us. That's why it's negative, because it's when it's harmful to us. And I didn't get what I want and I'm mad about it. That's the main core of what we're talking about here that we need to bring the antidote to. And it's sometimes subtle. It's sometimes subtle. So it's sometimes like I'm a little bit bitter because someone else got a promotion instead of me. I'm a little bit bitter. I'm not a lot bitter. I'm not freaking out, but I'm a little bit bitter. That's a negative emotion. There's little ones and big ones. Okay? And then the other one is aversion. And that is really just the opposite. It's just I really don't want that thing. I really don't want this to happen, or I really don't want to be around this, or I really don't want this. It is railing against your experience, or railing against, it's railing against your experience. So, it is when something makes us mad. Something makes us mad. Not just something that makes us mad, and a lot of things can make us mad, right? It can be things that are somebody's fault, like somebody doing something to you, but it can also be things that are nobody's fault, like getting sick. We can be mad about that, or bitter, at least. And the bitterness applies too. It's anything that makes us not like our experience that we cling to. So I get uncomfortable in elevators when there's people in the elevator with me. And that is a form of aversion. It's subtle. It's not like, getting mad and yelling or whatever. It's just I'm a little bit uncomfortable, just a little bit. But that's aversion, because there's big aversion and there's small aversion. And so while I'm in that elevator, I'm thinking about how much I don't like being in that elevator, right? And the difference between that and maybe some other forms of aversion is once I'm off the elevator, that passes pretty quickly. I don't sit there and think, gosh, I wish I didn't have to be on that elevator. I don't sit there and think that, but there are other forms of aversion that just stick with us. If we spend some time with a person whom we find annoying, we might struggle with being with that person at that time, but also reflect later and think about how annoying that person was. When they're not even around anymore, we can still be carrying that around, like holding on to it like this, and holding on to it very tightly, and sort of having closed off emotions because this person was annoying to us. Or I think maybe we've all had the experience where something happens, like getting cut off in traffic happens, and then you have a shitty attitude the rest of the day. Or something bad happens at work and you get home and you're carrying around a shitty attitude, right? That is a negative emotion, right? We're lashing out in ways that have nothing to do with what happened to us. But also, like the simple thing of being angry at someone and lashing out at them when they did do something still isn't really helpful to us. It isn't really helpful to us. And sometimes people don't like to hear that, and they don't like to think about anger's not helpful, because in a certain way it's sort of we think we deserve to be angry, or we have a right to be angry or something. And I think that's the wrong way of looking at it. The point is that it gets in your way. The point is not I'm angry at you, so I'm punishing you. The point is that it gets in your way. The Buddha said getting angry at someone is like picking up a hot coal to throw at them. You're going to get hurt. If you hit them, I suppose you're both going to get hurt. But the point is, you're picking up a hot coal. You're going to get hurt. It's not good for you to give in to your anger. That's not to say that we shouldn't do what we need to do to deal with things. We should. But we don't have to cling to our anger as well. So that is it for today. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me today, and have a good day.